Why is it so easy to feel burned out? Hi, I'm Melanie Benson. I'm known as America's leading authority on optimum performance, and I'm host here of New Era Success TV. And it's probably the biggest question I get asked. Melanie, I'm so overwhelmed trying to grow my business. How can I do this differently? Well, none of us are strangers to overwhelm in running a small business, right? But it doesn't have to always be overwhelming. As a matter of fact, you can actually minimize the overwhelm, but you have to understand why you're getting yourself into overwhelm. And that means you've got to understand the three different zones or the three different ways in which entrepreneurs, thought leaders, transformational mentors, and people with a lot of creativity end up in when they're running their business. So I'm going to explain these three different zones of performance, we might call it, and I want you to ask yourself which of these three zones you're in. Now, the first zone is what I like to call the optimum performance zone. And if you look at this graphic here, you'll see this is the zone it might be in the middle. And optimum performance means that you have found the zone that you thrive in. And the way to achieve that is by doing the right things consistently. You have progress that is always in motion towards the goals and the outcomes that you have projected for yourself. You experience lots of fulfillment. You feel thriving in the way you do your business because you've eliminated the reactivity and you have really set in motion proactive routines, strategies, and techniques that are constantly generating the results that you need and you desire. And you're able to achieve a level of exponential outcome. And what that means is that when you focus on the right action, everything you do has huge results, not mediocre, not minuscule, not barely covering it. And what that means to you is that your bottom line is able to grow. Instead of just getting by and just covering your bills, you're getting profitable. You're able to start thriving financially. You're using the energies and the talents that you love the most. And you're finding really creative ways to get the things off your plate that burn you out or overwhelm you. Now, this is a state that I know we all seek. And I'm going to be really honest with you. No one can sustain it 100% of the time. But if you don't know how to get there, it's really hard to find it on your own. And that's why so many people are in one of these two other zones. I want to talk a lot about the overwhelm zone because that's where I find if you have a business that's successful, it's really easy to slide into the above optimum performance. And what that means is that you are in the overdrive mode. You are constantly pushing yourself. You're always forcing more and trying to get higher and achieve more and go after bigger dreams. And there's nothing wrong with focusing on getting to the next level. However, it's the way you're going about it. As if there's no rest, there's never a break. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for overwhelm and burnout because there is no end in sight. You are always overcommitted. You're always overscheduled. You always have way too many projects and ideas. You're driving yourself so hard, burning the midnight oil every day, refusing to take a break. And it's just not sustainable. And, if you start to understand the powers that lay inside of us, we all have male energies and female energies. Well, most of us have over-relied on that male energy, which is drive, right? Push, force. And I'm not saying it's men. I'm saying it's the male energy. It's the part of us that can latch onto something and just seek it out and push for it and force for it no matter what. But what happens is that we don't know how to balance it with the zone of optimum performance, so there is no end, there's no rest. And we don't really understand what we're searching for and seeking for. We're in space of comparison and drive and trying to keep up with some arbitrary goal instead of really having an aligned business that's focused on performing at the optimum level. Now, you're in overdrive if you just seem to never have time for things that are important to you or you always feel behind. And you just need to learn, you need to discover a better, more effective, more sustainable way to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. Now, if you're in the overdrive mode, your whole goal, your whole focus needs to be on moving out of that way of operating and finding a way to operate more optimally. And so you're going to need to look at what's driving you and how you're recreating the wheel over and over and over again, how you're constantly ending up in reactivity because you're not slowing down to put some of the key components in place. As a matter of fact, the special report that we have, the 15 most commonly untapped strategies for exponential growth and impact, you'll find a lot of help in that, because inside of that manifesto, I share with you the things that you're too busy to see. You're too busy to implement because you've been sucked into creating and constantly striving for more. So that's going to be really helpful for you. Now, I'm going to talk just briefly about the other end of the spectrum. Although today we're really going to focus on the overdrive, I want you to be aware that there is a third phase or a third stage that people operate in, and that's what I call the understimulated. And that side of the optimum performance zones, if you will, is where you really are confused and lost and unfocused. You don't have a lot of motivation or inspiration, and quite frankly, you have no idea what to do when. Now that needs to be put into an incubation process if you're there, because you've lost the connection to your purpose and your passion, and you've forgotten, or you don't know how to make your business operate at a more effective level. So you really need to incubate your ideas differently and come up with better ways to get your message, get your projects, get your materials out there, get your programs and your products making better money. And you need to reconnect. Now, some people in that phase come to me because they need to be re-engineered. They were in overdrive or they were in optimum performance and they lost it. And it happens. You go into a dark night of the soul and you forget what you're about. Or you know you're evolving and you don't quite know what it is, but you know what it isn't. And I've certainly been there. And the other thing is that you're new in the scene and you're still trying to work it all out. So whatever phase you're in, know that the key, if you will, the paradise, the level of success that is possible is this optimum performance level. And I'd love to help you see how to get there. So I'll offer you a free copy of the manifesto. You can check it out at the link that I'm showing you right here. Or you can head over to beyondoptimumperformance.com/mastermind and get a copy of it for yourself. All right, I can't wait to hear how this works for you. And I'd like to know, which of these 3 levels do you see yourself in? You can share it in the comments below. All right, it's Melanie Benson Strick. We'll see you next week. Bye now.